Hi people. This is Free Economics. Today we take a shot of tequila, not the drink, the crisis. In the 1990s, Mexico peso collapsed, interest rates went wild, and thousands of companies went under. Was the rescue a lifeline, or just a bill handed to future generations? Three voices, one debate, and a story that still lives a hangover. Today we have three special guests, and can you present yourself, please?
Hi everyone, my name is Carol and it's my pleasure to we are and we us.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Nicole.
Hi, hello. My name is Simon Briseño.
Okay, so today we are going to take with some questions. Each of you, I suppose that you have your questions, no? Okay,
Yes.
so I will start because it's my program. Sorry. So let's start with my question. When we think about the tequila crisis, there are three big hits. The peso lost its value overnight, interest rates shot up like a rocket, and thousands of companies went bankrupt. But which of these was the real knockout punch for ordinary Mexicans? Was watching their savings disappear, struggling with insane loans, or losing jobs or business closed? What do you think?
In my point of view, the real killer was in the interest rate is higher. Eh, for example, you're Alejandro, you payment your house, your car, or any products. It's very impossible because in the interest is very high. And the thousand of families is lost their homes or whatever in business because in the Mexican we have enterprise and the family companies. And it was the amazing reason to people lost everything because of the situation and the insecurity of the financial sector.
Okay. For me, the most devastating aspect was the peso devaluation because overnight people's money lost all value. Price of basic goods and debts in dollar went up sharply, and the devaluation hit everyone, the workers, the families, companies, and it was the real trigger of the whole crisis.
Okay, it's my turn. Honestly, the peso crash was the nightmare. Overnight, salaries lost almost half their value. Prices went through the roof, and people struggled to afford even basic stuff. Sure, bankruptcies and crazy interest rates were rough, but the devaluation hit everyone, from big business owners to everyday families. Okay, we have the next question. It's my turn
Yes.
now. You think was Boa Proa really necessary or just a bad move? What do you
Ooh.
think? What do you think, Alejandro?
Okay, so I think that for opera is like to for bro was all as the safety net to keep the financial system from collapsing. But to most Mexicans, it feels less like a safety net and more like the bankers got a golden parachute while everyone else got the bill. It's like the bankers threw the party, drank all the tequila, broke the furniture, and then sent their receipt to the taxpayers. Sure, maybe it saved the system from total collapse, but it also create this bitter feeling that the rich got champagne service while ordinary citizens were left with the hangover water.
And yes, the FOA PROA is a very controversial topic because one on hand the government say it was necessary to save the banca, the private banca, because the bank is failed. And the idea or the government have an idea the bank failed, the economy collapse. But many people say it's an unfair because the FOA PROA use a public money to buy the bad debts for the private bank. And this is the bankers' mistakes become the public debts. So the Mexican taxpayers have to pay for many years in the next generation because the problem is started in 1994. But the present you visualize this problem, and this mistake is the people, the Mexican, was angry.
Okay. Well, I think it's what like choosing between two evils, because in one hand it prevents the collapse of the banking system, But in the other hand, it transferred the losses to all the Mexican people to nowadays. Like you said, it's generation. What is your opinion on the financial aid Mexico received from the United States and the IMF? Was it an act of solidarity or an act of self interest to prevent the spread of the tequila effect? What do you think?
Okay, let's be real. It was a mix. They helped Mexico stop the bleeding and brought back some confidence. But the US wasn't doing it just out of kindness. They wanted to protect their banks and stop the panic from spreading to other countries. So it was like, we're helping you, but also helping ourselves.
Okay, so I think that the US and the IMF swapped in with billions of dollars, and on paper it looks like a hero rescue. But let's not kid ourselves. They weren't saving Mexico out of pure friendship. This was about protecting themselves from the so-called tequila effect.
But they know how much money we are talking about. The USA to help the Mexico and almost $50 billion. And here is another big number, maybe. It was a mix of help and the self-interest because the USA government was worrying about the something called the Tequila Effect. What is a Tequila Effect? The Tequila Effect is an afraid the crisis in Mexico could speed for another countries in the Latin America. And so, stopping this crisis, the government, the USA, and the Mexico is an alliance and about protecting themselves and our, and it was a strategy more the poor support in the economy and the financial sector. The last one question is for me, and is very different because if you were in a power, in the Mexican power, yeah, what would you have done to solve this problematic, the tequila effect?
Okay, the devaluation should have been announced with more transparency. And avoiding panic would have softened the blow. A rescue plan for families and small business would have been fairer. The government acted with improvisation, okay, but if they had communicated better, the impact could have been less devastating to all the Mexicans and the investors too.
Okay, absolutely. The government should be letting pesos adjust early instead of keeping it artificially high. A gradual devaluation, bigger reserves, and tighter control on speculative money would be helpful. If we were up to me, I'd focus on saving jobs and small business, not just bailing out the banks.
Okay, so I think that the midnight devaluation was an economic strategy. It was a horror movie jump scare. Imagine waking up to find that your money shrank overnight and nobody saw it coming. Because the government kept it secret, if instead of shocking people they had communicated openly, build trust and create gradual measures, the panic could be been less brutal. And Mexico didn't need silence and fear. It needed honesty and transparency. Sometimes the way you deliver the medicine matters just as much as the medicine itself. Remember, hangs over faith, but death lasts a lot longer. Bye bye.
Bye
Bye.
Bye.
bye.